So let me show you a mystery that God gave me, and then we'll close. The mystery of how to enter into wealth. The wisdom of God. I spoke about it some time ago. Many people didn't understand. I said the east gate is open, but the east gate will not be open for too long, because very soon the east gate will be shut, and then only people in the glory will see what the glory conceals. But other people will stand at the north gate, at the gate of the west, only to see the glory of the east, but there will not be a partaker of it. So that we sing about the glory of the east, but never be a partaker of the glory of the east. I speak as a prophet. Genesis 2:10. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. A river flowed out of Eden into the garden of God, and from the garden of God it parted and became 4 rivers. Now this is a mystery of supply by positioning. Do you understand what I just said? You see, when God began to do his work on the earth, you must take note of certain things. If you want to know spiritual alignments for favor, as you begin to read Genesis, don't read it from the perspective of a story. Read it from a perspective of a code that the Holy Ghost is going to help you to unlock. And there are many codes hidden throughout the book of Genesis, and also hidden throughout the books of Revelation. Are we together? Yes, it's a code. There are certain things you must pay attention to as you begin to journey through this write-up, through this sacred writing. The first thing you will pay attention to are the things that God said. Number 2, the things that God said to man. Number 3, the positions that God took on it. If you can know those things, meanwhile they are up to 12, but I will just tell you this 3. If you can know those things, by virtue of that knowledge, you can stand in a place where your leaves will be perpetually green. When God wanted to plant a garden on earth, why did the Bible specifically say God chose the east of Eden? By that simple code, you can position your business in such a way that it will face the east, and just because of positioning, customers will keep coming to that business. You can give understanding. You did not go and fast and pray, you just knew a code. Meanwhile, the children of darkness understand this thing. You are the one that puts your office anyhow. These guys don't put their offices anyhow. Where did the wise men see the star of Jesus from? Positioning can even give you sight. Oh my God. So the Bible said God planted a garden east of Eden, and then a river flowed into it. Hey, so Eden was prosperous by positioning. So everything in Eden thrived because Eden had managed by the wisdom of God to be founded in the perfect place where every good thing flowed into Eden, and everything Eden flowed into became good. So the Bible says a river flowed into Eden, and out of Eden that river branched into 4 heads. Meanwhile, every part that river took, the Bible spoke about the treasures that were found there. In some of that river were found the best gold. Are we still together? So we now discover that the posture of Eden is the posture of a supplier. So in destiny there are those who are suppliers, and in destiny there are those who are receivers. The west is pitched against the east. If your tent is pitched against the east, you will perpetually be a receiver. You will never be a supplier. Meanwhile, as what journeys from the east keep on journeying, it divides. Do you understand? So if you are perpetually spiritually at the west, you would only be a receiver of the fraction of what flows from the east. If you are the north, you will only be an observer of the glory of the east. I'm speaking prophetic terminologies here. So the river that flowed into Eden flowed from the east into Eden. So the river came from the east of the east. May God give you understanding. He saw the only one from Maparan. Where was Maparan located? In the east. Where does the sun rise from? From the east. Where does the sun set? So it means those in the east, spiritually, their sun never sets. And those in the west, spiritually, their sun never rises. So just by positioning, you will only be seeing sunsets. Another man, he is only seeing sunrises. He never sees a sunset. Because when he looks as though the sun is setting, the sun is only rising again. The sun is only rising again. So he's in a realm of perpetual rising, and another man is in a realm of perpetual falling. Hey, I don't know whether I have people that can journey with me into a prophetic gate here. So there's a gate that needs to be perpetually lifted up, and that gate is called the gate of the east. Meanwhile, if you read Ezekiel 44, the east was described as the place of the temple of God, and that gate was the gate of God. That gate was the gate that God traveled through. And in that temple there was a corridor, and the Bible said in that corridor was bread. So there's the place of bread. And that was why I said those in the glory, they don't see the glory. When you begin to see the glory, you are no longer in the glory. I know you don't understand. You are praying to see the glory. No, if you are truly in the glory, you don't see the glory. Only those outside the glory can see the glory. But you in the glory, you see the things that the glory conceals. So the things that the glory conceals are for those in the glory. The splendor of the glory are for those outside the glory. There are things that glory conceals. Darkness is not the only thing that can conceal. Even light too can conceal. So when you stand on the pulpit, the nations is in the glory, but you that's in the glory, what you are seeing is alignment. You are seeing where God is helping you, where God is covering for you. So God shields you with his glory. But in the secret place, you are seeing the process that makes the glory. That's what your focus is on. Another man is seeing the shining of the glory. So the glory can conceal a man. That is why the one standing in the east gate is always seeing revelation, inventions, creation. The one standing outside the east gate is only seeing aesthetic. So he doesn't produce anything, he only consumes. So we can know that you are standing in a spiritual east gate or not from how your river flow. Does river flow from you, or does it flow to you? Meanwhile, if it flows to you, you will only be receiving a fraction of what truly came. The man of fear is not the man with the bomb. The man of fear is the one with the formula that makes the bomb. Because anywhere you put him, if he has the material, he can create that bomb over and over and over again. So the garden was watered because of positioning. The river had to pass through Eden. It had to pass through Eden. So the one standing at the east gate receives the full measure of what came from Shekinah. He is the first partaker of a witness in the spirit. So the one through whom that witness was bettered becomes the first partaker of the witness that came. When you are in the east gate, the Lord will not do anything without you, without it being revealed to you. Before the famine come, you'll be the one found holding the reserve, the east gate. And that's why the east gate is the land that the sun continues to rise. It doesn't set. You cannot stop the east gate. You can only try. That's the mystery of the east gate. By this wisdom, you can know where your east gate is. The places in you that is the east is the place that will receive the river. Do you know where your flourishing come from? Pitch your tent there. Don't pitch your tent against the flourishing of your spirit. Do you know the movement of your river? Because if you know where your east gate is and you pitch your tent there, you'll be a supplier of what your generation has never seen. So from you will flow an operation. From you will flow a pattern. From you will flow a wisdom. From you will flow an invention. From you will flow something that people have never seen, and for them to have a taste of it, they either stand in a place where you flow into them, or they come and pitch their tent where you pitch your tent. And almost of the things I'm saying may not make sense, but it's the mystery of the east gate. When a thing begins to flow from the east gate, it begins to diminish in quality, and the diminishing of the quality is not necessarily in relation to the value of that thing, but the portion of that thing. So the Bible says from Eden the river branched into four. How we know that you are pitched in Eden is that the things that come from you takes many shapes. There are many anointings that come from you. I don't know that you understand what I'm saying. People cannot just say only one thing with you. There are many things that flow from you. That's why Yeshua said, out of your belly shall flow rivers with an S. The people who were pitched in Eden and the Spirit of God flowed from them, they were master. Daniel was wise in the languages. There was wisdom in Daniel, wisdom in Joseph. Wisdom. So there is a multiplicity of grace from a man whose tent is pitched in Eden. And the sign that there's a multiplicity of grace is that he will not just be good in one thing, he will be chief in many things. Because where his understanding comes from is not human. His understanding comes from a realm that is beyond human. So his river branches. And because his river branches, his nations are many. That's why are we together? This is how we know that Abraham was truly a blessed man, because it's not just one thing that branched from Abraham. Many things branched from him. So if you're a blessed man, many things will branch from you. Many people, tribe, nations, mighty men, wisdom, businesses, many things will branch from you. So I tell you the truth, if you're a civil servant, you've pitched your tent against the east, because you are not a producer, you are a receiver. May God give you understanding. The government was not built in such a way that would support a civil servant becoming a billionaire. Don't deceive yourself. The government does not want you to be rich. That's why they say minimum wage, minimum. They always want you to be minimal. Government was not designed to make the youth rich, was not designed to make the old rich. It was only designed to make the people cooperative. May God give you understanding. You think as you are going to that workplace, and you are not doing anything, you think you are enjoying. Government has enslaved your time, your productivity. You will stay there morning till 4 o'clock, and what government is taking away is your time, and they are not giving you up to even 50,000 naira. What government will reward you with is many titles: chief assistant manager, assistant chief manager, yet you are struggling with a pigeon that has died 10 years ago. And the only people in that government job that will get something meaningful are the people that are the first pioneers, the people that are at the zenith. They are the true government workers, because from them your salary flows. The one that is at the east gate will feed the one that is at the west gate. Don't allow anything take away your power of production. That's why I always tell people, I say education is not a must. Education is only an advantage of survivor. You must understand that as long as you're on earth, everyone has his own advantage of survivor, because the natural disposition for living on earth is a disposition of a survivor. The natural disposition. And to survive, you must have an advantage than the one you are surviving over does not have. Do you understand? So to one his advantage is strength, to another one his advantage is knowledge, to another one his advantage is memory, to another one his advantage is skill, to another one we all have different advantages of survival. And it's the advantage of survivor that you have that will group you in society. So a man that went to Harvard has a better advantage for survivor than a man that went to school but is Uni Ibadan. A man that went to Uni Ibadan has a better advantage of survivor than a man who schooled in a village somewhere. That is from the educational perspective. But that man who schooled in the village may be a farmer. His farming has become a better advantage of survivor to certificate, because when the one with the certificate has a certificate, he has food, so he can exchange his advantage of survivor for money. Trade by barter. What do you have that is valuable enough for someone to invest in? I tell you the things that they will not tell you. Don't go. There are some of your children, don't force them to go to education. You will kill them. Yes, sir. Know what they are masters in and begin to train them from a youth. Yes, from childhood, so that when they enter their 20s, they're already kings in that realm. And because they are kings in that realm, trust me, kings will come to the brightness of their rising. When you want to repair your Mercedes, you don't ask whether the person went to Harvard. You ask whether the person is an expert in Mercedes. How come you are sitting at home for 10 years and you are praying for a miracle job? Is that delay not enough answer to your prayer? God is telling you, oh God, go and look for something doing. Go and learn a skill. You are there disturbing God for miracle job. The fact that you've not received that job for 2 years is answer to your prayer. The thing is, God is, oh my God, God is now telling you, oh God, go and learn a skill. There are some answer to prayer that comes with silence. How can you be a full-fledged man, woman, praying for miracle job for 7 years? The fact that God has not said anything should be enough answer to tell you that maybe my part is to go and learn a skill and dominate somewhere. Yet to sit down there, going from prophet to prophet, deceiving yourself. On Instagram and on LinkedIn, you are online on LinkedIn. Why are you so proud on an advantage for survivor that is not working for you? David said, this armor is not my armor. David knew his armor. He had mastered that armor, and with that armor he got a throne. Sometimes school is not your armor. Farming is your armor. Because with farming, your own wisdom, it comes by inspiration. Whenever you want to know a thing that you are blessed for, you are inspired for that thing. It's an inspiration. It's not a product of knowledge. The greatest mathematicians and physicians, they were inspired men. In a field, if there is no natural inspiration, when you are talking, it's as though it's coming to you. You are receiving insight in that field. Things that people are not seeing in that field, you are seeing it. Is a sign that you have a horn for that thing. And then they now carry you and go and cage you in the 4 walls of a school. Something that is not your armor, and you are dying every day. And guess what Satan does? He steals your time. For you, business is not your armor. God has blessed you with memory, retentive memory. School is your armor. Why are you forcing yourself to be a businessman? If you know your armor, you will live fine. Just know your armor. You will no longer be worried about who goes to school, who doesn't go to school, who has this, who doesn't have this, whatever. You will never be worried about those things. Never. Me, my advantage of survivor is the Holy Ghost, because to some men a spirit is the advantage of survivor. All these pastors are preaching, they didn't go to school. Let time tell. You now know that some were called to be eunuchs. You are making noise there with your certificate. You will meet something that you only need a spiritual man to help you. You will need a spiritual man. Don't worry, sit down there and be making noise. You will need a spiritual man very soon. And the last time I checked, I don't need you and your certificate. When the Holy Ghost sits you down and explain things to you, you will be free from the deception of this world. From the day he told me that the natural disposition of earthlings is the disposition of survivor, and that everything you have on your journey is only an advantage of survivor, I now discover that, listen, everything that the arm of flesh has is not valuable to what the spirit offers, because on earth the spirit is the highest advantage of survivor. So God told Abraham, he said, me, I'm your exceedingly great reward. So the question is, what is your advantage of survivor? Or have you conformed to this world? When you conform, you can no longer be transformed. There are some times when you invest, God will tell you, drop out. Inspiration will move you out